Today's Focus report comes from our team who are on the ground in Russia. There are growing questions surrounding mercenaries who are being sent to Syria. Well, they often come from Russia's isolated rural areas and are enticed by private military companies who promise competitive salaries. One such company called Wagner has been recruiting mercenaries for 2 years now to send them to Syria. This to support Bashar al-Assad's army.
It's 8 in the morning. At the fish-smoking factory in Ekaterinburg, the guard, Faina Mikhailovna, has just finished a 24-hour shift. Her sleepless nights stretch back far longer, though. For 2 weeks now, she's had no idea what's happened to her son.
The last time I heard from him was on the 5th of February. He said everything's fine. But on the 8th, I came back from work early in the morning, just like today, and they told me he was dead. Since then, nothing. We wait and wait, but nobody calls.
In this village of 3,000 people, at least 6 men left to fight in Syria. Here, they knew only unemployment, misery and alcohol. Over there, they were promised riches far beyond their local salaries.
My son never would have left if he'd made a good living. But there's no work here.
The US Army bombed Syrian troops and the Russian mercenaries supporting them on the 7th of February. The families at Ekaterinburg haven't been told anything since the attack. Everyone here is scared to talk. Secrecy has shrouded the goals and details of the journey of these men to Syria since they left together last October. This neighbour's son-in-law was also among them.
I didn't think he'd gone to fight. I thought he went to help people.
Yes, that's what we thought as well.
That's what they show us on TV, that our soldiers serve out soup and distribute humanitarian aid.
But these men didn't become soldiers. They signed up to be mercenaries. Last October, this teenager, whose father also wanted to go to Syria, took part in a strange ceremony. It happened here at the town hall, in this room which is used as a cultural centre.
This is where it took place. There were 2 benches over there. The Cossacks came and got the men to kiss their whips and the Orthodox cross. They told them that they were now Cossacks too and were leaving to go and protect the Syrian border.
This singing teacher, who's head of the cultural centre, also saw the ritual take place.
The Cossacks came and made our guys part of their ranks. A priest blessed them and told them they will fulfill their duty towards the motherland. There was no mention of any combat zone. Yes, to protect the Syrian border.
So who could these recruiters be? One lead is the Cossacks, a community active in times of conflict. Thousands have supported the Kremlin's political goals by annexing Crimea and fighting for the pro-Russian side in eastern Ukraine. Russia acts as a support base for these fighters active in the ongoing Ukrainian conflict. In Ekaterinburg, the regional capital, we met with the chief Cossack of one of these paramilitary organisations. Under condition of anonymity, he agreed to speak to us exclusively about Russia's biggest military secret, Wagner, the private military company that sends mercenaries to Syria.
People sign contracts which say they won't tell anyone anything. They don't receive their salaries if news gets out, and that's why everyone keeps quiet.
The Russian Foreign Ministry recognised the death of 5 Russian civilians after the assault in Syria on February the 7th. But our source was given other information directly from Wagner.
218 dead. That's the latest number we have. 150 people in refrigerators on the Wagner base itself.
You say the base. Where is that?
Molkino, there's a training camp there.
When will they give the bodies back to the families?
Certainly after the March the 18th presidential elections, and even then in stages, not all at once. There will be small deliveries. That's if they do give them back, of course.
Why so much secrecy? Russia's openly carrying out both air and sea operations in Syria.
Because it's about commercial interests more than anything else. What's the main goal of a private military company? It's to make money, and then to defend the interests of a state when the state can't use its regular army. If you've signed up to be part of a private military company, you've sold your life to them. It does whatever it wants with you.
The Wagner Mercenaries, Vladimir Putin's secret army in Syria. A name that Russian officials have never spoken out loud.
Today's report coming from our team on the ground in Russia. To talk more about this, I'm joined by Kirill Mikhailov, who is a researcher at the Conflict Intelligence Team. Mr. Mikhailov, it's good to have you on France 24. I mean, we saw in that report this is a very secretive process. What do we actually know in terms of the numbers of Russians who are being recruited as mercenaries to go to Syria?
Well, as Russian media has reported, there have been up to 2,000 people in Wagner in 2017, and that number has been growing, as those units that took part in the ill-fated February offensive, they did not even exist in 2017. They were formed later and were obliterated then. So as to the total numbers of how many people there were, we have a small indication, like all those Wagner soldiers, they have dog tags, the soldier tags, which are modified from the ones that regular soldiers use. So the biggest number on such a tag we have seen is 3,601,
Okay.
which suggests that at least 3,600 people have gone through Wagner.
Okay, so that's a basic number of people who could have been recruited. I mean, these young men are being enticed, it says in the report, by offers of jobs, good salaries. They're clearly, though, being duped. They're not getting what they signed up for, are they?
Well, they are getting what they're signed up for, really, because, there is the only way, actually, to get any prospect of salary job is either the army or now the mercenaries. And even their families, they're getting a vast amount of money on a Russian scale. So think like there will be about 100,000 euros or even more than that, and that's enough to support a family for some time. So, of course, they are probably, there must be some discouragement from what happened and became public, but they will still have recruits. There are many men that have fought in different conflicts and can't really adapt to civilian life.
So before they head off to Syria, you're saying that they do actually have an idea that that's what they're going to do, be mercenaries for the Syrian army?
They have a pretty good idea what that entails, because Wagner is now pretty much public knowledge. They know that they are fighting and dying, and of course, it's a combat operation that I think they should know what that's about. They know they are not guarding some rear base. They should know that they are being paid a vast amount of money. I mean, it's several times more than what a soldier would get.
So what?
They know that this is something they will have to work for.
So Wagner is one of the private military groups that are doing that. Are there others? I mean, Wagner was referred to in this report. Do we know about others?
You know, it's an interesting story. Like, there have been lots of reports of different military groups that are supposedly in Syria, but so far we have only confirmation of Wagner. And that actually tells you that this private military company is not really private. It's not really a market for this in Russia. It's just basically the Russian government outsourcing Russian desks and the actual ground operations to the one and only bidder. And there was even a story when there was a supposed Muslim private military company also fighting for Russia. But turned out it was basically a big hoax perpetrated by reporters for pro-Kremlin media, and they basically took photos of themselves and posed as a private military company, but there wasn't one. Wagner is the only one that we come to know about, and it is big enough. Some calculations say that there are half as many Wagner mercenaries as there are Russian soldiers in Syria.
When it comes to what's encouraging these men to go, I mean, you touched on it, you spoke about large sums of money for the men themselves, for their family. Do you think that the Russian government will be forced to look at the issues that are encouraging these men to go and do this work?
Why would they? They have a steady supply of those people for whom they otherwise would have to be responsible, would have to be accountable if it were the actual Russian army. But since it isn't the actual Russian army, they are pretty happy with that, so that they can sweep it under the rug, at least in cases when there aren't that massive casualties as in the February case. I mean, dozens of Wagner soldiers have been killed in 2017 and 16 to the almost total silence of state media on the issue. So they're a bit happy with that. As long as they have a steady supply of recruits. There is another big source of recruits at Eastern Ukraine, where there are lots of those people that have been got into the trenches, got to fight by promises of getting accepted into Russia.
OK, Kirill Mikhailov, you're a researcher at the Conflict Intelligence Team, joining us from Kiev. Thanks very much for your time today.